Hi, my name is Pamela Ryan, and I want to welcome you to PJR Consulting's Question of the Day. This channel is really designed to help you with the job search and everything related to the job search. So, we're going to focus on job search activities, your resume, LinkedIn profiles, questions about your bios. Do I need a cover letter? And again, more details about your job search. These are questions that I talk to with my clients on a daily basis. I do have two asks of you. One is if you have questions that can help us grow the community, you'll see in the description below there are links to my website, my email address, and my social media sites. Please message me the question and we can prepare a video response. The second ask I have of you, if you could subscribe to the channel or share the channel for people who you may find this channel or the responses of value. The other thing is over the next week, you're going to find me releasing shorts associated to the video responses. My goal or my strategy around this concept is to help optimize your time. So the shorts, you'll be able to look at them and then they'll help point to the longer videos. So if something isn't really of interest or you don't need to look at it or is more of interest, you'll be able to more easily find it. Okay, let's get into it. Today's question is how to present you for the job you're applying for. You know, when I talk to a person, the first thing they really want to know is how do I attract the hiring team? How do I make my resume stand out? And what I find is most people are focused more on the roles and responsibilities of the job or the technical skills of a job, as opposed to demonstrating their ability to do the job that they're applying for or taking it from a 360 point of view. So let's talk about job descriptions for one quick sec. I know across the board, people tell you all the time, job descriptions, they're useless because they're old. Well, let's explore that. The first thing is in a job description, you get, if you look at the first part typically, it really talks about the job and the roles and responsibilities. And it's really a question for you. If you read it and the question is do you want to do this job? If you don't want to do the job, that's not a job that you would apply for. But if you do want to do the job, it becomes of more interest. The second part of a job description is really about the qualifications, the preferred qualifications. Sometimes the highlight is the skills you need to bring to the table or, a variation, something like that. This is where it's of more interest to us at this point. If this is a job you want to do, we want to look at this part of the job description. Okay? And if you look at this, it's never just about the technical skills of the job. They talk in these preferred qualifications or in the qualifications, they talk about things like education. They talk about certifications if that's a requirement for them. They talk about the roles and responsibilities or, but what's most interesting to them is what they talk about, not necessarily all the roles and responsibilities. They talk about leading teams. They talk about collaborating. They may not use these words exactly, but they do talk about working with clients. They talk about working with suppliers or working with third parties or working with partnerships. They talk about working cross-functionally. So that's going to be who across the corporation you'd have to interact with. And do you have, experience doing that? You'd want to highlight that. They talk about, establishing relationships or connections at the C-suite, working with leadership. Do you need to work with competitors? I see a lot of resumes where people talk about leading go-to-market teams, and then they stop there. They don't necessarily go a level down where they talk about What part of the go-to-market did they work on? How many people did they work with? What size of a team did they lead? Which part did they work with developers, third parties? Did they work with competitors? Did they negotiate with competitors? Did they work with clients? And the other thing people don't necessarily highlight is what type of clients did they work with? Which clients did they work with? And you don't need to list every, but you can provide a subset or a few to give your resume a little flavor. Give the person who's reading it a little taste of what you bring to the table. Another thing I recommend is using numbers. You don't just want to say, I led a team of engineers, for example. You want to say, I led a team of 30 engineers. Or you want to say, I led a go-to-market team of 120 people, cross-functional team. I led a cross-functional team of 130 people. So you want to look at your extended team and discuss that. So think about stuff like this. If you negotiated or closed a $2 billion contract, you want to maybe highlight that and then talk about how you did it. So you don't want to highlight your roles and responsibilities. You want to use the roles and responsibilities to explain how you accomplished something. So I want you to kind of change your perspective a little. Think about what you accomplished and then use the roles and responsibilities to describe how you did it. Another thing I want to highlight on a resume is people talk about technical proficiencies all the time. A lot of times I'll see people will use cloud. I know cloud. Well, that's great. A lot of people know cloud. But what they don't do is talk about what clouds. We need to give your resume get a little more specific. It is very important for you to list the clouds you know. For example, if you know AWS, if you know Microsoft Azure, if you know Google Cloud, you want to list all three of them. If you really featured AWS, then that's the one you should highlight and list. It is important because the people reviewing your resume or the computer reviewing your resume, that's what they're looking for. They're not looking for cloud. I have clients who are trying to downplay their capabilities because they think they present too technical. You need to present as technical as the job description is requiring. So if the job description is requiring certain technical capabilities to be featured, then you need to feature those technical capabilities. Another way to differentiate yourself is to highlight your methodologies. Okay, so if you know Agile or DevOpsSec or different types of methodologies, you do want to feature those, but you can do it underneath your education and provide a list. Not everything has to be at the top of the resume. So these are some ideas that I think you can present that present you in a better light. But it is important to start off introducing yourself with more of a 360 point of view so that the person reviewing your resume knows who you are before you drive down into the deep details of it. So I always recommend start with a summary and introduce yourself to the capabilities and abilities of the job you're applying for. Keep in mind, the person reviewing your resume is not reading it. They are scanning it and looking for what they need to find. Help them find it. Make your resume readable. Thank you very much. Have a great day.